But yeah, we'll take over things, and we'll see if the Immortals can just quickly close out this 2. And they do actually, if I recall correctly, they hold the advantage in this this double best-of-3 set, which means if they take this one, we don't have to play the second best-of-3. They just win it outright because they're coming in from the upper bracket. With that said, though, we'll get into things and take a look at how the Immortals are going to fare on their pistol round. Specifically pushing a lot of their players over here into the Sunroom early on. They've put 2 fully committed over in that direction. And over on the other parts of the map here, it's still your general default lineup, but they don't have any aggression leading in towards like A main right now, and that's what's allowed Nitro to push through. Now Nitro got hit pretty heavily. He's down at 15 HP, and they've got a guy in Squeaky, so they time it right. Oh, and he unfortunately misses the chance to, but he could have just knocked Nitro out right there. And they're playing retake A, so in theory, that could have opened up the bomb site and allowed them to push back in with the man event, which what the CCs do not want to have happen in that scenario when they are playing for that retake. But instead, the guys on the Immortals are still going to stick to the main plan, which seems to have been pushed this while running the timer. Again, this is a lot like the Cobble strategy, too. They run the timer out a little bit. Now they're going to explode out over onto the B bomb site. JDM hunting for kills, but he can't get anything. It's actually Stan and Elige that find the impact, and Elige with a nice one. It actually looks like JDM that gets that kill from up on top on the bolts. But at the end of the day, it's left to Henny to now do a 1v5. Pretty much impossible. So looking likely for Liquid to take control of this pistol here. We'll see what Henny can do, of course, if he can max out any damage, but it's going to be a bit of a moot point. And we do see him get knocked out. As we can see, Elige is sitting down below. He knows he's there, though, so actually if he goes in, he's going to look for him right over there in that right corner. He's really hunting for that headshot against Pimp. Finally gets it, of course. But a lot more work to do, and there's only 15 seconds to do it. Elige has the knife out, too. For a moment, it looked like he wanted to go for it. But, oh, the triple shots from Henny. He's definitely doing that damage. But surviving with 1 HP, I think this is where he's finally going to meet his match moves. And no, he got another one somehow off there. Takes down Stan. Finally, though, Nitro does put an end to the chaos and gives Liquid control of the pistol round. But important thing to note, too, is this is the same exact way we started off back on Cobblestone. It was the Immortals that immediately upset into the second round because they chose to force, and they were able to in a very close shave, granted. But this is what let them kickstart themselves and really just crush Liquid right from the start. And I imagine, of course, that they're going to want to do it again. For the most part, this is just ending up being a deco round with the exception of Bolts. Everybody picking up deagles except for him. Very limited utility beyond that, but we've seen how powerful the Brazilians have been in the past with the deagles and how menacing they can prove to be, especially for Liquid, too, who's no stranger to being aggressive right now. If you just look at the minimap and how far they're spreading across specifically, they've got guys in A main, and we can see the deagle shots ringing through there. They're really not giving Immortals a whole lot of control to work with. But there's the first blow. It's Steel finding Elige trying to push his way through the Squeaky Hall. They knock him down. Nitro as well sitting back over there outside of A main, and he's just going to be positioned in that spot. Waiting for right now. Not really making any moves just yet, especially after losing his teammate. He's now the only one fully committed over to the A bomb site at the moment. But they're going to send the rest of these guys inside of A main to start some kind of a deployment over to the site itself. No presence in mid at all, which means Stanislaw is going to be free immediately after this begins to rotate over there and start his push back up highway to be able to add his presence over to the A bomb site. But still, the time working out in their favor with this kind of a split right now, but they also have to worry about, of course, the aggression that's come up from Liquid. You still have these two guys that are investigating back over here. They've already gotten their way all the way up to useless rooms. They know for sure this is coming into A, and Stanislaw knows this too. In fact, they know that there's no presence in mid. They have sprung a bit of a trap for themselves here now. They've created, I should say, a bit of a trap for themselves, but if they can get these kills, there still might be a path out of it. Bolts with one, FNX with the second, and they've gotten their way into the site. Now JDM and Pimp hold on the backside over here. Bolts is tapping away at them. There's finally a kill for Pimp, but now he's got a 1v4 to worry about here on a retake, and he just mollied himself out. So he's not even going to attempt this. He's going to fall back and save, and he's going to let the Immortals upset and take this over now to a 1-1 scoreline. Hanging back a bit here, too. He's going to have himself at least one more battle, but looks directly at that flashbang. So Steel will take him down. In fact, it'll be no saves at all for the Team Liquid roster heading into that round. And we're right back into the chaos that ended us off on map number 1 there, where it was Immortals that did the same kind of upset. Liquid, it says, appears though they are going to force into this one once again. Deagles for most. We do see the Scout coming out for Pimp to try and play with a little bit there, and JDM is saving a bit more fruitfully. So he's just going to go for the 5-7. No armor pickup behind it, no additional utility or anything else like that. Just sitting back and playing a bit more patiently, as he still needs to use the op in a couple of rounds here when they finally can afford a full buy if they don't immediately upset here. And Bolts is doing a good job actually at weighing this back, playing it at long range against JDM. Will be his next target here, but he's also got a long range weapon himself to try and use. It's just not tagging in the way that he'd like it right now. He'll be down at 16 HP. And certainly will not be re-challenging that against Stan, though. Lines up a beautiful angle with the Deagle. Almost gets a second, but this time it is going to be Lucas that does a little bit better damage. Deagle versus Deagle in that situation. Lucas will bring him down low, but he's done damage too, and even this back out into a 4v4. And it's entirely split. You could draw a line straight down the map right now. The Immortals players have not been able to really get any sort of control just as of yet. Bolts is finally starting to make some progress in pushing himself a little bit closer over to the B bomb site right now. And JDM has given up brain there too, and so that B bomb site, you know, with JDM being as low as he is, that bomb site is wide open for the taking right now. As the second he fires off the shot, they're going to know where he is, and well, there you go. Yeah. Bolts makes quick work of taking him out of the picture, and they're going to swarm right in. No one getting super aggressive so much as to actually move into the tree room and sort of counteracts what we would expect to see from these CTs, however. So they will be allowed to approach the gates if they want to attempt the retake, but actually considering what had transpired back over on the last map, again, they are going to play this economically. They're not going to go for this. They're going to fall back. They're going to save the guns, and they're going to try to make sure they still have some firepower for their next round, which is going to be a full eco if they assume that they lose this one, which is a pretty good assumption at this point. Falling away from it here. They all get in squeaky, but Steel realizes that he doesn't actually fire off, as he can also call for players like Bolts. Bolts is probably not your best bet, unfortunately, but if he can get someone else grouped up with him here too, they can confidently push inside. They know that they're all grouped up in there. They're all going to be trying to play that out at this point. Stan is also very low at 20 HP. The pop in, but no, it just works for Stan. FNX finishes the job, however, catches another trade, brings it down to just 2 left alive here for Liquid, and you can hear some of the others rolling around in there. The smoke, he's going to push directly through that one. Unfortunately, no one else able to get over toward the outside of A main, where they might have had an angle to try and take these guys down. So the remaining 2 survive. They do still carry through with some firepower into this next round here, but beyond that, they will not be able to really bring anything else to the table, as they are full saving here, waiting up for their next gun round, with the Immortals again in control of the set. This has gone the exact same way that we had back over on the last map on Cobblestone. So without change up here, it may look like a Immortals domination here very quickly if Liquid does not change their pace. And there you go. Henny, he moves forward. He finds JDM. Another one for FNX, and Steel finds a third as well. Elige able to trade back out this time, and Pimp amazingly holds in that situation with just a measly little USP. He finds the kill on the Steel. Bolts trading out one more, but at the end of the day, it is Lucas, and it's a team ace for the Immortals as they pick up their third there. And really start to push themselves ahead here. But this does transition us into the first Liquid buy round here, the first big one, that is, with rifles and everything like that. They get JDM the op and all that too. So there's their first chance to really shut back down onto the Immortals and try to make this map a little bit more competitive than the last one was. We saw inklings of it before, but like we mentioned, the big key things is just the fact that Liquid stars weren't really showing up to the table consistently. You saw some good stuff from JDM every once in a while, but for the most part, he was really quiet. Stanislaw actually was pretty good on the CD side at playing towards A long, but that was really the only area where you saw him remaining proficient. Similar issues popped up for guys like Elige and whatnot, and I think it was Nitro that was down in the dumps, basically. It was like a 2 and 10 or something like that towards the end of the first half. Really had a rough time playing out in that first map there, and we never really saw much of him for most of it there, let alone the rest of the team. So Lucas is going to fire things off here too by finding Stanislaw within the early round situation. That clears out mid immediately, and they will try for a fast crunch on A. They are limited a bit by what's inside of A main right now, and good flashbang too is look, and let Elige push directly through and get those 2 kills. Great response from Liquid, and now they have the bargaining chips in their favor, as they've also got the bomb onto the ground here too. And Elige is going to chime in for at least one more, and another one. Elige up to a 4K now. FNX hanging out. He's got some players isolated in a Z currently. And the white box is going to be a big issue here. Pushing up to the highway position. A 1v3 that is certainly possible to win. And he'll be smart. He won't go directly into the Lion's Den, which would be the A side at this point. He's actually going to round it back, head towards B. At the very least now, he'll guarantee himself a plant. This will be a little bit difficult of a post plant for himself in a 1v3, just because there's so many angles these guys can move in and retake from. If he could go into tree room and pop off one of them really quickly and then go back into plant, that'd be great, but that's an extremely ballsy move that really is not realistic to do in most situations here. So he'll just try to play this out in the nade again, doing a bit more. It's not too much, though. So he has to try and play this out perfectly. And the plant he's gone for, again, is going to allow him to play super passive. But at the same time, it will also allow for Liquid's players to move in very aggressively. And they're sprinting through. They found another tag onto him. That's another 10 HP about getting knocked off of his health pool there. So he's down at 26. And JDM hasn't dropped in just yet. They're looking for him there, and they spotted him. And it's JDM again, finding the upshot there. The hero of that round, though, is most certainly Elige. He goes massive with those 2 big kills followed by a pop flash. He gets those 2 big kills over on highway, and then he grabs 2 more while being as low as he is up on the site as well. That's extremely impressive from Elige. And that's what's brought Liquid back into this round here now and forced Immortals to buy back into this next one. They have the money to buy through to this one. After this is where they're probably going to have to go for the eco path buy, depending on the players amount. As you can see, it's a little bit uneven for some there. Luke is up at the high end, about 2k, and Bolt's down around 700. Liquid's in the same boat, though. If they get dropped here, they're going to reset yet again. And that's exactly what the Immortals want, to be able to take a bit of a lead. So we're going to see in the early round here, again, the Immortals pushing most of their players over here towards the B halls. But no lead up into a site yet. Molotovs do start to flood in. And they're making a whole lot of noise, but no actual momentum up to the site. This is drawing the attention of Liquid, though. They're certainly starting to rotate off of it here. We've already seen 2 move away from the truck position over here. One transitioning into Z, and another one just heading into tree room there to try to hang back out. Nitro's now the only one deployed onto A. So if Steel can sneak in there and find that kill, then the change up over towards an A hit will prove to be very much so worth it. But Liquid also has some intuition about this too. There was I mean, no one even pushed into the B bomb sites, so it's very obvious that, okay, they're definitely not going to be deploying here. So there's only one of 2 options. They're delaying this by a very large margin, the fact that they just wasted their utility, or they're trying to fake it and they're going to go in towards A. And they kind of got the right read on that one, but they took the safe option, so it's not a full commitment into A just yet. Nades again getting tossed in there, but really not going to be met with much success here. As it does pretty much miss the spray, however, a little bit better, as it knocks about 15 HP off of him. But when Nitro comes time to be tested, he gets knocked out. It's not just him either. It's Stan, too, against Henny that gets destroyed. And it's not even just Stan either. It's a Liege. 1 by 1 by 1. The A defenders for Liquid just get destroyed, and I don't even think there's a possibility for a retake here. More than likely, JDM and Pimp from Liquid here are just going to have to fall back and save, and that's exactly what they're doing now. Shifting away from this one. They've got to give it up, and there's that reset I was talking about. Thankfully, the guns will be saved, so they still are going to have a little bit more firepower to try and play with here. But it's still ultimately around for the Immortals, and another one where they do get to jet ahead here and cause economical troubles for the CT side. And these are the same problems that Liquid was dealing with for pretty much most of their first half back over there, and well, most of the map in general, back over on Cobblestone when they were trying to play to that one. And it'll bring them down here. Again, if they want to force it, they certainly can try to. They have enough cash to be able to drop 2 rifles over, 1 for each player. And that looks like it's what they're going to do. Now, they will have to sacrifice utility on 2 of their players because of that. Specifically, JDM and Pimp will have to go a little bit lower. Pimp would have gotten himself a full spread if he had not dropped it. But, I mean, even considering that, it's actually not too bad at all. Stanislaw only has to go down to a UMP. So this is they still have enough for the basic set here. The problem is, though, is that they use all of their smokes, with the exception of 1 in Pimp's arsenal, right at the beginning of this round. So the Immortals are going to be looking at open sights and clear skies for the majority of this one, and that's a very, very big miss, too. JDM had a clear trace on the Bolts as he tried to jump his way into Sunroom there, but misses the shot, and that's a big opportunity that's gone by the wayside, and now they know where the op is playing towards, so they can try to avoid that a little bit for the early rounds here, try to box it out, or just try to, in general, be wary of it when they do play towards positions that he could still be playing towards. And it does appear as though they are going to try to crunch onto that B bomb site after the past 3 to 4 rounds now focusing on A hits. Now finally there's going to be a change up. Henny, though, will still try to sell it towards highway at the very least by smoking things off here, making it look like they are going to put some aggression onto it. But when now the time comes to move back in, Pimp, they'll hold close up. I don't believe they've spotted him yet, as he's going to hug the one and done corner. We'll see if he can find anything from it. The flashbang's out. He's going to get 1, and well, now he's done. But JDM, he's got a better spot to play with here. 1 for him. He'll be done as well, though. Zenny, he's going to be able to pick up the kill into JDM directly after that. And Stanislaw stuck at heaven. He doesn't even really feel confident enough to be able to peek out against this right now. It's even. They can certainly attempt this retake. But again, this goes back to the utility flaw. Now, they don't have mollies to try and force these guys out of the site. They don't have smokes to give them coverage to push back in. All they have are flashbangs, and they can hope that they can line up some really monstrous pop flashes here. But if they miss, then, all right, there goes 1. Doesn't really affect them at all. Second one gets tossed back in. The same story. Bolts is ready for the third one. Hits, but it doesn't matter. Bolts still netting a kill. Elige with the trade. FNX further back on the site gets 1, and then Henny chimes in with the secondary op. He'll finish the job for the Immortals. 5-2. They're jetting ahead once again, and Liquid have to full eco here around 2k if they want to save the buy up on the next round. So nothing at all is going to be picked up by them on this round. and this essentially makes it a free one for the Immortals. Unless there's a huge mistake made. It does spot the play happening back over here at mid. Other than that, Bolt's moving in, finding not one but two, and they're going to catch some more of this aggression back over here. Actually, I don't think they've caught this yet, but they'll check it now. Now they've seen it, but unfortunately, they lose Bolts to it. Lucas, though, catching the trade. They know where one of the remaining two players is already grouped up back over there by Squeaky, so FNX can actually look to grab him, but he was a little bit late on the peak, so he misses his chance, and it's not just here, too. Oh, actually, no. FNX spins around and takes down Pimp. I would have thought for sure Pimp would have been able to edge out the headshot there, but apparently not. So Liquid off of that save, like we mentioned before, the full save does enable them to be able to go for their full investment here, but it is going to be limited with regards to extra bits of utility again. They won't get any real significant amounts of HE grenades or Molotovs, so they're still working with just the basics. And they made that same mistake before where they just used all their smokes right at the start and they weren't actually able to hold off the Immortals when it came to the push, so hoping they can be a little bit more passive about it. They're going to get aggressive, and Elige walking right out into the B halls. He'll take about half of his HP off it, but he gets the kill into Bolts, and now this is going to send the Immortals reeling into A main, as there is no presence here at all. Currently, for Team Liquid, they're all playing to a retake, but they very quickly also have rotated into that, accounting for what would have been spotted there in that B push. So this is good from Liquid. This is a good setup. It's a good position. They do shift away from the A side a little bit, as the Immortals are playing the mind games now. Still a minute and 10 seconds left on the clock here. There's plenty of time really for both teams to misjudge the scenario and misrotate, but now Nitro and Elige will be the point contact players here up on the A-bomb site, as the Molotovs and everything else does try to spread back in. Nitro now hanging back on the site along with his teammate. They're both playing directly together here. They're going to try to two-man team this as they do wrap around the other side, but Nitro also has to be cautious of their potential to go over here towards Forklift too. Thankfully, the take is happening really slowly, so they're getting time for these players to get in positions, but when push comes to shove, Nitro and Elige both go down with no trade to their name within that actual fight. Stan and JDM, however, they're already here, but again, FNX popping out there. He's going to be able to pick up another kill from the forklift position. Stanislaw trades. There's a lot more to be done, and Pimp's just been killed on the flank. Stan goes down pretty quickly after that, too. So, once again, Immortals being given really great free reign over one of the bomb sites, and they're able to push themselves in there, only having to kill one or two players along the way, and that essentially is enough for them to lock down in a post-plant scenario and stop their CT opponents from really being able to do anything else, from being able to successfully push back in and retake the situation. And that's happened so many times now. Not just on this map either. Well, you do have the Immortals, again, still sitting back this time, playing into the default angle. Definitely not as decisive as some of their previous rounds here, but still as a standard play. And Luke is even watching out for this counter boost this time, too. You can see them hunting for it, but he's obviously not going to get a spot on it yet. Elige is crouching down there, waiting for the appropriate time to catch it. He'll toss the... I believe it's a flashbang. Yeah, he does toss the flashbang over, although it's obviously not going to do much. He's just got his eyes glued on it right now, waiting for them to eventually do it. They haven't seen it yet, but now they're going to be able to push out to mid. There's no support system set up for him at all. I just realized that as well, is that he was alone in mid there. So it's very easy to punish that counter boost, as he's not able to watch towards the mid garage there either. The Bolts again finding Pimp here, and once more, just like many of the rounds in the past, they're slowly eliminating them. There's Stanislaw, though. He was right at the edge of steel, and fortunately for Stan, he was able to move in there and sneak that kill in, but he's not going to survive for very long at all. FNX has already found the trade kill onto him, and it's down to Nitro as the last man standing. All he has to work with is a CZU. Scratch that. He's got a Deagle now. A little bit of a mini upgrade, but in the grand scheme of things, this is not a gun worth saving. You might as well go and see if you can get any damage onto these guys. And there's the battle that may lead to his death if he continues to fight it here. Wrapped onto the other side. He's stuck now. There's the headshot, however. Picks up at least some damage before being knocked out by FNX. And the Immortals now go up to 8. They are once again, just like on Cobblestone, running away with this match and showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon. And now we're going to see a double up from Liquid. A bit more firepower coming into the fray. But it's not firepower that's the issue. It's a general lack of presence across the map that continues to let Immortals into the sites. It'll be quick from the Immortals inside of A main this time. a 3-man stack here while keeping FNX limited back a bit here. Fourth will rejoin in inside of A main 2 as they were keeping him out for a second there, but flashbangs are in. Nitro's forced into a corner. Liege, however, still up and rolling. He's got one, transitions it to a second. Nice spray transfer there. But Lucas will trade him out. And now the rotations are coming in quickly. That's the bomb going down to the ground. JDM is free to peek out from his angle there too, and Henny as the last man standing. Well, we'll see what he can do in the 1v4 scenario. Trying to push himself in, but yeah, just not panning out there. That time the play happening a bit too direct, but that's what we needed to see. And these are the rounds previously where the Immortals were being met with a lot of success. Normally they were able to get those opening kills and push back in, but that time there was much heavier trades in the favor of Liquid. And finally Liquid actually getting some free kills that weren't traded back out a couple seconds later. So they hold on there. They keep it consistent. The double op works out great for them. As finally they're putting some rounds back onto the board, but there's also that inevitability of just a trade round coming back in a moment here. If Immortals are able to take this round as well, but it seems like a Liquid guys are going to try their best to stop that here as they push forward. A Liege being tagged, I think, through the mid garage panel here. He's brought down to 26 HP after that one, and he's the player they're boosting up too. And it's not just here. JDM at the very least finding himself a bit of the action there. He'll be able to take down Bolts. I believe as he tried to push his way closer to the B bomb site is where he met his fate. And we can see a Liege and some of the other guys just hanging out back down towards mid. A lot of focus on that, as that has been the main focal point for the Immortals too, being able to use that, keep the inconsistency in terms of Liquid actually knowing where the bomb is usually going to push its way towards, kind of rolling at this point. And by putting the big stack of players here, it's great. They've been able to isolate that, but they do have to be cautious now of the Immortals as guys kind of grouping back up and all in pushing the site, as now they really only have 1 or 2 guys on each site to adequately defend it when a big hit comes in. And that's been another thing that the Immortals players have been a big fan of here. Time will eventually go down to a point, however, the Immortals do need to force their way in, and that site is going to prove itself to be over here towards A, which means the 2 guys that are deep in B may want to start rotating off here fairly soon as they do move in. Nitro's getting prepped for it here. Flashbang's not really connecting onto him. His first shot misses, though. Peeking back out for the NBK corner. He's been hit by a flashbang. They got free reign over him, but the Molotov is causing some hesitance. However, at the end of the day, Fox and FNX, or probably not Fox, FNX and Lucas are moving in there to pick up some kills, but they haven't checked this corner, so Stanislaw was wild with the spray. He only gets 1 kill. They cancel the plant for right now, and he only ends up with that 1 kill, unfortunately, as he does whiff things off on the attempt to spray transfer into a second kill. He could have done much more with that spot. It does not play out the way they wanted it to, but this will fall to a 1v2 at the end of the day. Now that JDM has himself a position forward here, Lucas will be first at the bat if he does decide to peek over there to the left corner. And if not, then it's Steel further back inside of the squeaky hall there at 17 HP. JDM is going to sneak his way forward here and smoke that out, so be smart about it. He's still been sprayed in, and this will allow for Lucas to finally encroach out from the bomb site, move in and finish the job as the Immortals now get their 9th. We've only got a few rounds left in the half, 3 to go here, and Liquid again are just not showing us that they have what it takes to push past the Immortals here. And even when they do, it's not a matter of being able to win the, that one or two rounds. It's a matter of, actually being able to keep it consistent and find a counter that works, more than 2 times in a row for them. As more times than not, when the Immortals have been countered back out, they just change up their strat a round or 2 later and then right back to fragging after that. It is Stan this time, though. That'll pick up the kill against Henny here. So a good start from Liquid, and it's not just here where we see effectiveness coming in for the Liquid squad either. Bolts also tags quite a few of them, or just tags Bolts. Bolts gets tagged, I should say. Apologies. Up front by Pimp over there towards the B bomb site. He is going to give up his position there for now as he just rotate back over. And the rest of Immortals do prep up for what's probably going to turn itself into just another direct A hit here. And they're playing retake to that, so they expect it at this point, as this has been the favorite site for the Immortals. So smokes and whatnots do start to roll in here, giving them the room that they need to go for the cross. Tagging shots trying to pop out there too. You can hear him in the distance from Pimp, but nothing really connecting at this point. They know they're close up behind that smoke too, but having a bit of trouble actually connecting, and the aggression, well, it bites back hard. As Stanislaw and Nitro have gotten those kills, and now you're just looking at FNX and Lucas as the last 2 standing and rolling right now. But they seem to think it would have gone off the site a moment ago as they were starting to rotate off of it. Thankfully, Stanislaw and Pimp do spot those players, and it doesn't go in the other direction. So there you have it. Another one for Team Liquid. 4 to 9. They do find a little bit of consistency here. And the Immortals continue to whittle down their cash supply as they'll buy into this next one. 5 rifles for them to work with And Liquid still on that double up setup, which may have proven itself to be the effective tool needed to actually take down the Immortals here. Since they've been able to work with that, they've been looking a lot better in the way that they've been holding on here. And maybe they can carry it through to bring us to a 9-6 half, which is not going to be bad at all here for them to try and round the comeback on their T side. So we will see the Immortals start to push back in, but there's already aggressive position by Nitro. And look at Elysium up on top. He gets 3 over to the USP. The damage is done, despite the fact that it'll be traded out by Steel. That's a massive round from Elysium up on top of the Shroud boost. And off of that, he has single-handedly shut down the Immortals now. They've all been pushed back, and Steel has nothing that he can try and do. It's still, in a certain way, clutchable, but in terms of that A site, it's gone. There's no way he can adequately push in there without getting knocked out in some way, shape, or form. So he does have to fall back and make an attempt to switch the site, or just at least cause a delay before going back into A. Which is exactly what he is doing right now. In terms of the actual decision being made, though, that is yet to be seen. But out in mid, that's not the place where he wants to go, as JDM's waiting. And it is going to be a nice, just easy pop-off shot for JDM to take down Steel and finish the round for Liquid, as they're on the comeback path. And for the Immortals going into the last round of the half, well, their money's not going to be that great, if I'm being completely honest. Deagles is what pretty much everybody is going to work with here. There's a couple other guns picked up there, the SMG, the UMP specifically, for Steel. And Lucas is just going to work with... Lucas is just going to buy himself an AK now, with no utility sitting behind that either. So it's raw gunpowder for the most part for the Immortals now. And they will put Steel close up this time over here to the B-bomb site. Trying to see if he can make some noise at the very least, throw some of these players off, but Liquid are not moving an inch. Stanislaw up on top of the awning there. It actually works out great for him to find bolts over up on top of the boost position. They take him down there. Nitro finds a beautiful shot this time too. I think that's through the door a little bit. Be able to take down Henny, so that takes him down. 3 remain for the Immortals, but Alicia's going to self-boost up on top of the Shroud spot. And so he'll hold himself a position there now, as they wait for the rest of the Immortals to work their way back in. But they're keeping it quiet again. Elysia spotted it, though. He knows for sure where it's coming in from, and you can see that from the minimap. As JDM is rotating back over. It'd be great if this was a fake and they deployed the bomb. But look, 1, 2, and the third shouldn't be trouble at all. It's down to FNX. He's looking for the player in the Shroud spot, but it's Elysia again from up on top there that does massive damage and does bring Liquid back into this game. 6-9 is going to be our halftime score at the end of things. And for the Immortals, well, they were looking good, but finally, Liquid seems to have suddenly come alive here. We've seen a new resurgence from them at the end of that half, and if they can bring that now to their T side, it's certainly plausible that they can round the comeback and take us over to a map number 3 and potentially a set number 2 if they can actually win that third map, along with this one, of course. As again, it is that extended set, which has some weird rule implications, as I'm sure most people have never actually seen a tournament play on that one before, but because it's a double elim bracket, the way it ends up working is that in the grand final, you technically have the possibility to play 2 best-of-3s. The team that comes in from the upper bracket only needs to win 1 of the 2, but the team from the lower bracket needs to win a first time, and then you reset the set score and you have to do it again. So here we go now into the second half. And we'll see what Liquid has to offer us now in terms of an offensive on this T side. Initially, though, look at how aggressive actually the Immortals are being, as they're going to move in. Henny specifically checking into A main. Liquid just spread it out into a default. There's nothing fantastic about what they're doing. But Immortals actually play rather aggressive on the A-bomb side, really just expecting it to roll in here and having Henny as kind of an early warning system. Normally, you almost... Now, especially among North American and some of these Brazilian teams, you almost always come to expect them to play retake on A, with a heavier presence shifting towards mid and having the additional guys in B, but that's not the case here at all. They've gone into a heavy A stack because they want to directly challenge it, should Liquid follow through with this, that is. As they are backing away right now, too, and potentially leading this over to the other site. And FNX will be the one to have to spot things if they do go out towards mid to get vent control. He's seen it there. This could be a false card to allow them to solidify their presence on A, though, as he could very well be thinking that they're moving in there to try to get highway control. So you're looking at Steel that has to figure things out here quickly enough and see if you can tap any of these guys. This technically, again, is all off-site positions, so they switch it around and they really just have a retake set up for B in a certain way. With all these positions on A, as they can push back in here, they can get aggressive, they can line up flanks to the T halls, but it's going to take a couple seconds to be able to do that, as it's not as dynamic as the other setup is. But FNX again up on top of Heaven, hunting for any of these guys on Liquid that he can find. Nothing being found early on here. And not only this too, but Nitro gets aggressive out to the open. There's the headshot against Henny. They'll take him back down. Bolts is looking for the trade here, but no, Nitro finds yet another kill before finally going down to Bolts. Bolts, though, back in there, taking down Nitro, and Steel also picking up a kill here, too. It's down to a 2v3, however, and Steel's pressure from all angles. Same thing for Bolts. Liquid will shut it down, and they will take control of this pistol to be able to shoot themselves back into this match now. Immortals, I imagine, are going to force into this next one. You can cough. You're not dying. Brain slug. So, it does feel weird. You're just like sitting there, not saying anything at all for the past 2 hours. So, Liquid now, again, just going into a default split. And again, waiting out the pattern here from the Immortals, as they have gone for that force. But they're also, they haven't like gamble stacked this or anything. They're just playing their players spread out here too. Pimp will take down Henny in the early round though, and that's mid. That's going to basically be swung wide open. FNX can move in and contest it, but I don't imagine him doing so. He goes up to this truck angle, and he's just going to be waiting again here, really floating between the 2 points. Doesn't stay at that truck angle that I mentioned a moment ago. He's being a little more versatile about this. And with Liquid having mid control, the world is their oyster. Judging from the players that they have inside of Sunroom, though, I would imagine this to go to B, but no, maybe I'm wrong about that, actually, as they do shift their guys back over here towards A main now and start to push them in there. But they may be able to sell this as a B hit really well by pushing him in. JDM, though, is unsuccessful. He gets forced back, and now they know 100% that it's going to be coming in. Bolt has to buck her down, as these guys are going to be moving into this one. He peeks out into the open. He's able to get one, looking for more than this one, but Elysian and Pimp trading out those kills. They get control of the site. Pimp's going to be pressured in a second by 2, though he jumps for some reason. And now Lucas is going to move in and take down Pimp. This is even, almost in a certain way here. Liquid still have that man advantage, and they have another one lurking up towards mid, so the cross is the problem, is getting over the divide here and actually pushing themselves over to the bomb site. And the Immortals realize that this is going to be a lot tougher. But Lucas, hold on, they found one against Nitro here too, but still, they're going to give up the pursuit. They don't think they have the capability to actually win out this round, so they're going to give it up, and they're going to let Liquid have the 8th one here as they try to save not only that Deagle, of course, but this, more importantly, this AK sitting on Steel, so they still have some firepower to limit the economy of Liquid going into the next round, and as they try to focus up for their first gun round coming up, the one afterwards. And as the buy rolls in here now for Team Liquid, they do have to reinvest in, like what I was just mentioning here too, like the money is still fairly low for Team Liquid. They are not secure in any way, shape, or form just yet. So if Steel, now armed with that AK, can get like 2 or 3 kills here, that's great. Because if they then win the first gun round, then they're going to have an easy path to retake that lead. Steel having to shoot through the legs of his teammate there, as he does pop up on top. But it does kind of work out. Gets the kill into Elige. You know Stanislaw is sitting back over here in the corner, but he's very quickly being surrounded. And that one kill that he got against Elige seems like it's going to be the only one that he will be able to get. FNX is back over here in the B bomb site still, and he's going to try to rotate out, but he's smoked out from Z. The A side is, in just a moment here, going to be completely overwhelmed with players from Liquid, so there is really no room for him to try to do much at all. If he tries to go through that smoke, you do have Pimp waiting for him in that corner. So at the moment, it's all Liquid under control of things, and not much that FNX can try to do here. Although, now that I say that, Pimp is actually watching the wrong position there. I think he was hoping that Nitro would bail him out in the event that there was a push, but no, not meant to be. But indeed, the tie still rolls in here. 9-9 now. And Liquid themselves reinvesting heavily into this one. But it is the Immortals that buy out into their first big gun round. They get Henny on the op. They have to sacrifice quite a bit for that, though. I mean, look at this. They've got smokes, but that is essentially it right now. A flashbang, an HE, and a Molotov is spread across the remaining portions of the team there. But that is all they have. They do not bring anything else utility-wise to the table. So they have to be very, very careful about when they utilize this, when they throw these out. And for Team Liquid here, all they have to do is really play a waiting game. If they can let this timer run down for 30 to 40 seconds, more than likely they're going to have open sights in terms of the entrances. Already finding Henny early on too, which is probably not the target they would have picked to get knocked out here. The op is an incredibly crucial piece, and it's not just here as well. FNX, they'll be able to trade back, but he goes out into the open too quickly. Bolts actually fires off a little bit early here when they do peek, so now they know that he's going to be sitting over here, double mollying his position to ensure that there is nowhere for him to hide, and Nitro is able to knock him out because of that. They're down to 2 now on the Immortals side. Lucas and Steel are going to be the last 2 up and running. They'll push their way back out here. Pimp is sitting over there in the corner. Peekaboo! And he takes down both Lucas and Steel to give Liquid their lead now. 10-9, they officially take it away, and it's another clean round, too. They go up while only dropping a Liege over the course of that round. And so off of that, again, they can build a bank. They can get their way back into this one and try to push their way up to 16 rounds. They take this over towards the 3rd and final map. At which point, if they win, they got to do it all over again, which is, it's going to be very grueling if Liquid actually have to go and end up going through all of that. That's the problem with double best of 3 sets. Is like, yeah, they're great in terms of fairness, but they kind of suck just because they are super long to play out. Well, it'll be Pimp finding the first marks of this round, moving into Bolts to take him down. And he waits around the corner here too. He certainly knows that there's a flush coming into this A-bomb site right now, and he's trying to ring around the rosy with these guys. He drops the offer, gets that one, and disappears into the smoke. Unfortunately, doesn't disappear that well, and he does act as enough of a distraction. Now, ref next to pull a Houdini pop out of nowhere, and it's not just him either. The Deagles are doing massive work right now. It's just a Liege left alive, but with that isolation of Steel and taking him down, it will bring things back into a 1v2, and one that he can certainly win. But no, he looks away from this one. He lets them cross onto the bomb site. He's got a minute left to do this. It's actually a good thing that his team does not plant in that scenario, as he has a lot more time to work for this. And with the bomb on the ground not being able to be defused, he still has a good amount of chance to still win out this round. But FNX playing towards upper. Oh, that's weird. The Molotov is going to need to explode up on the top. I don't think that's what he wanted to have happen. And so unfortunately for him, the Immortals are still going to be able to push back out and take him down, and we get retied immediately into this next one. It gives the Immortals a nice little boost as they can immediately take their own gunpowder into this upcoming round here. But for Liquid, take a look at them. Again, they've got to buy down here quite a bit. They're really only going to have... Actually, I don't even think they'll have anyone, actually. That if all of them get wiped out here and they don't have any saves, that they'll be able to adequately force into the next round. So they're still in breakage territory now after that last round. That was a really great victory for the Immortals to steal away from Liquid, and now they have a huge advantage if they can keep it consistent here. But it's almost everyone from Liquid spreading out across the map here now. A bit of a heavier presence towards those B halls. Let's take a look at Henny. If JDM gets that peek there, and he certainly has the advantage on it, and he will sink the shot. It takes down JDM, and that's killed all of their B halls pressure for right now. As a few more are going to rotate over, and just more than likely, it seems like they're resolving this into just your standard A play, but they can hear a Liege stepping around right there. So now Steel, they don't know that he's going for the boost just yet, but he'll be sitting at the other edge of that, preparing for it here. He wants to go for it, but that's actually going to be a rough boost to work out for. I mean, everybody on the Immortals is essentially playing into an A retake right now. So they can get out onto the site if they all just focus on A main, but they utilize that boost up there. I imagine he'll get shut down pretty quickly. Mid pressure, though, could allow him to stay a bit safer. And Lucas, well, he's going to be completely blind. They check the cubby. They don't check the other side. Lucas, he keeps his teammate alive. And not only this, too, but Steel, he's still up and running after a Liege catches the trade. He'll look for one more, but no, it's a Liege that grabs it. Regardless, though, this still is an advantage for the Immortals. A 2v3 situation. The Molotov into the halls is going to restrict Stan from being able to immediately push back in. And actually, Alicia is going to hold off on breaking the vents, too. Instead of being able to take a forward spot there, he'll wait until Stan is ready so that they can take this together as a team. And now they're prepared to go in. Nate is going to actually toss back pretty deep there. And FNX lines up the shot through the smoke. There's one more to go, and it's going to come from Henny there. As he picks up the final kill, the Immortals, they lost their lead, but it was only for a moment, as now they're back in control once again. And Liquid, well, they're going to be on an eco here. upgrading their pistols on a few players, I imagine, but nothing else beyond that. And maybe I don't even do that. As a pause is actually going to be called here. Assumably, I would say, from Team Liquid's side. As they just lost a huge advantage that they could have potentially built upon here at the beginning. And it's been struck against them now. And they only really have a few more rounds if they're not going to be able to consistently trade out against the Immortals here. They only really have a few rounds left to make mistakes like that before they're going to run out of time and run out of chances to be able to qualify for IEM. So again, just waiting. If you want to draw stuff, you can draw stuff. I don't care. What are you drawing? What am I? Okay. Do top right. The one to the left of the mill. Bottom right. No one's gonna win this game. Top. Oh, darn it. What? What is that? Whoa! Back, dude. You're cheating. That's not allowed. That's mean. You can't do that. Alright, so things should get unpaused in a second, guys. As soon as Liquid... Might actually be tech pause. This is going a little bit longer. I thought we were on the 30-second rule, but maybe not. The pause rules... It's still like a weird thing, because the pause rules for a lot of online tournaments are still like really inconsistent, as some online tournaments use the normal Valve pause rules now, but other tournaments don't, and they still have like the 2 or 5 minute rule. It's kind of weird. But we're on pause now. And Liquid, again, really cannot justify the force up with the current amount of cash that they're working with. So they are just going to light buy into this round. P250s, Tech 9s, and a Glock, 2 Glocks actually, for Nitro and JDM, with Nitro contributing a bit of utility to the mix here. It will be the Immortals. Again, their default spread at 2-1-2. Nothing out of the ordinary here for these guys. Liquid actually moving very quickly up towards those squeaky halls, though, as they do want to try... Again, I'm imagining priority on the bomb plant. But if they can flood out here and still somehow take control, that'd be great too. FNX spotting it though, and he's getting massive damage in. It's not just him either. Bolts pecking him off one by one. And Nitro will be left as the last man standing, but certainly won't be able to be standing for very long. They do take down FNX there in the process of that chaos, but that's all they're going to get. It's still an Immortals round. It's still Immortals shooting forward. And it's another very important gun round here for them to try and keep their lead that they had just a few rounds back, to try and bring it under their control and take this over to a third map. It seems like if Liquid is going to survive, then this set and the possible resetted set that they would play later on today is going to be grueling as hell for Liquid, as this is a rough game for them. It's always Immortals, it seems, in control of things, and while they have rounded the comeback here, it took some struggle to do it. But due to the lead that they had coming out of the first half, while these rounds are being traded a bit better in the second half, it's still the Immortals that dictate everything at the moment. So a heavier focus this time on the B-bomb site, as they have 3 players in the vicinity, while only keeping 2 towards A. But the good news is that with this fake right here, JDM popping in, gets some great damage on the Henny. That's going to immediately pull the players up. However, it actually seems like they're biting on this. Like Liquid is also biting on this one too. They're going to go out towards mid and try to push into this one, but they've got presence to counter on a highway play right now. Bolts, he misses his opportunity though, but FNX, he might get one himself. Gets 1, gets 2, finally goes down. One shall die, another shall take his place as Lucas moves in, finds yet another kill against Stanislaw, and it's down to a 2v2 now with the bombs on the ground, and Liquid don't necessarily have absolute security to go pick it back up right now. They've got to waste down the time a little bit and see if they can catch the guy at Z. Because you don't want to peek into that, though. As thankfully, Liquid do kind of regain control of that. They'll back away from this one. 35 seconds. If they recheck A main, they don't have the option of falling back to rotate over towards B. But they gave Immortals a hell of a lot of time to try and line up potential flanks and retake angles for themselves here. Lucas was kind of trapped in that Z position, so not too surprised that we didn't really see him move around from there. But other guys like Steel have now moved over to the back squeaky halls, and he could have big impact. The only problem for him is that you can see that in the far right now. His door is closed. He's going to need to be loud about this. That or he needs to have a Lucas act as a distraction for him. Flashbang at the ready. And in they go now. They're going to pop it off, and they're going to try to push back in, but JDM is prepared for it. So now you're just looking at Lucas trying to clutch this out 1v2. It's not going to work, and JDM will shut it down. As Liquid do save themselves. They force through it, and it ends up working out. Immortals, I think, have enough cash to buy in for at least one round here. So they have a chance to reset Liquid yet again. Just waiting for the actual buy to happen. As, yeah, they do buy this down. They'll toss over a FAMAS onto FNX. It'll be a bit weak for some of these guys, but it's still a fairly standard buy. For being completely honest here, it's still, they've got everything that they would need with the exception of the single M4 not sitting on FNX's hands. Beyond that, though, on the Liquid side, they're also still working with one SMG sitting in the hands of Pimp here, too. So, bit of a downgrade for them as they could immediately just get reset here. And that's what's happened to them so many times. Like I said, they're chasing it there. They're continuing to slowly close the gap. It starts off 9-6. And these guys have actually been trading rounds back and forth for almost an entire half so far. But Immortals still holds the advantage. And if they can continue this trade spree without allowing Liquid to really take control of the lead yet again, then they will eventually, I imagine anyway, still end up winning this match right here. And that will knock Liquid out and send Immortals to the land itself. But the creep up finally rolls in from Liquid. Lucas playing to the one and done spot. He may be able to get more than one, however, as they do shift back in. Won't be the case. Now it's Steel's turn to party off here as he's heading in the head glitch position. It's actually going to push them back. They weren't able to retrieve the bomb, thankfully, after it was dropped back inside of the site. They're going for a quick wrap back over the other direction here, but Immortals are still rotating further in towards B. Specifically, Bolt is heading towards Z right now, so you only have FNX sitting here, and he's the player with the FAMAS to try and defend this site as they push over towards it. Bolts, though, he's arrived, but not for long. Nitro swings out over there by the forklift, and is going to get a quick kill, but they're not checking towards quad. They thought it was open. FNX gets 2 kills essentially for free. Traded out the damage on him down to 12 HP, but they were not able to adjust quickly enough. Now JDM misses the first shot, and FNX is going to be so smart. He's just wasting time. He's not even really looking for the kill as quickly as he could. The Immortals will move back in, and now that he has support, he is able to solidify that third and final kill. They will grab it. And the Immortals again take control. It's another reset against Liquid's favor. Look at the money. It's so imbalanced for them right now. 3,200, 3,000 for Liege. And after that, it just goes down into the dumps. They're going to force this, though, as they know they're completely outmatched here at this point. This is it, potentially, for Liquid, as they're just going to be forcing it at this point forward. But this is using all the expenditures of cash that they had left over from the last winning streak. And it's not even that great of a buy. It's all Tech 9s, with the exception of a Liege, who was able to get a UMP. But if we're being completely honest, I don't think they've been too great with the UMPs so far. They haven't found as much effectiveness as they may not have liked. Smokes, however, covering off the pressure in mid. FNX does definitely hear at least 2 of them pushing back in. Oh, but that smoke, it does fade all of a sudden there. And a loss for Pimp to get taken down. The flashbang. FNX is blind, but just in time. Henny peeking out from Z is able to save things. Now up on the A-bomb site. Bolts gets 1, 2, traded out by Nitro. But Nitro is the last man standing here. He'll move up. He'll get 2 for himself, however. Didn't count him out just yet. He'll have to try and ace this one if he wants to clutch it. But they're already close to the site. He's going to get the bomb on the ground. That is going to guarantee bonus money. He'll be blind on the way in here, and they'll just take him down quite easily. But he made the team focus decision there to get the extra money. Since more than likely now, I imagine that Liquid may just end up forcing into this. 14-11. I do think that they need to play this for the win itself right here. They could save for this one and then try to go 4 rounds straight. That's certainly plausible as well. But then you're going to be dealing with overtime, and that just adds on to the longevity of how long these guys are going to have to be playing in the set for. So they do make that decision to save. They're going to be focusing on this now. And for the Immortals here, if they can shut this one out, and they only need 1 more to close it down, and while they will have to deal with a gun round next, they've got 4 tries at it. And that'll make things a lot easier. But that relies, of course, on Liquid not actually upsetting in this one, because we have seen some crazier stuff happening recently, especially with Liquid just kind of getting together here now. They may have some newfound strength with Stanislaw jumping onto the roster. And oh my goodness, they haven't even checked into the spot. FX fires off. I don't think they fully realize where he's at. No, now they have, though. Nitro, it takes him, and he's like, wait a second. Did he just fire off from there? Well, they find him. Now they're going to have to move in for a retake. So it's Liquid with full site control. Great smoke coverage across the board there. And look at this. Bolts knows he's got Pimp in that corner. He's got to finish the job, though. But actually, no. You might think it's secure now because he sprayed in there. He did so much damage to him, but the pallet of the box there itself is eating up a lot of that damage. So they're going to swing in, and they're going to walk right past him. He swings out, but it's way too wide. It's into some of his teammates there. So Lucas will get in before he can find any impact, and now they're going to start to push them back. They've jumped onto the bomb. They're trying to force them back out. This is a stick this time. It's a human shield being used by Lucas, and nobody's peeking it at all. They thought it was a fake. Pros don't fake in this case, and it's another round for the Immortals, and they wipe everyone off of Liquid. Lucas gets a 4K there. They're going up to match point here, and qualifying point for IEM Katowice. So we'll see if Liquid can try to round this comeback, as they do get this buy round going. AK's the op sitting on JDM. But we will need to take a look here if that stuff can have any effect. This is and he's actually gonna get pushed back here. He had the op out, but actually almost got kind of screwed over, as he got hit by the flashbang just when he swapped, so he kind of lost himself. But it's that hesitance from Liquid that really messed up on these guys too, as they didn't actually follow through after they threw out that pop flash there to punish him. So he is allowed to escape. Thankfully, no one else goes in, but this time the CT's moving out. Look at this from FNX. Moving out there, finds Elige way inside of A main, takes him down. More on the way up. They'll catch that trade, but there's Lucas here too, ready to catch more of them, as that's going to knock down yet another one. Stanislaw, the most recent victim to fall, this time to Lucas, and they are trying to flush this into A main. It's still a 2-2 stack too across the map, so the Immortals haven't actually gotten the full read on this one. They're still potentially expecting this one to go in the other direction until they get full confirmation. So both Steel and Henny are going to be sticking over onto the B-bomb side. But look at this massive spray down. Thankfully, it's traded up quickly by JDM. They prevent Bolts from doing the damage. But look, Lucas now may be able to stop this himself. He gets one. He knows Nitro's stuck in that corner. The cavalry's on the way from the B-bomb site. Nitro, what are you going to do now in the 1v3? He's going to move away from this one. Challenge initially. He gets that first kill. The Molotov will send him into the open. He can no longer plant the bomb. They both just double peek him, and down they go. So the Immortals are going to take control of this second map, and with that, guys, they will get a very quick 2-0 to take control of this set versus Team Liquid. They are moving through.